Live from Arkansas streaming news leader, this is THV 11 Morning News at 7 on THV 11 Plus.
Happy Friday, everybody. It is 7 o'clock. Thank you for joining us here on THV 11 Plus as we get you ready for the weekend. And it's the, no, I guess it's not the first weekend of 2026.
No, but we just finished the first full week.
The first
That's right.
never ends.
What
Yeah.
do next?
The first work week.
Good
It's been
one,
good.
Ashley.
Yeah, I will find a way to twist it. First full week of 2026.
First full week. Well, I don't know if you guys remember last year where we were in the first full week of 2025. We were up in a hotel,
We
stuck
were.
in a bunch of snow
Talking
and
about
ice.
snow.
Oh my gosh.
Ooh,
A
it's
little
coming
different
now.
than last year.
Yeah, I can't. You were doing traffic. Were you doing traffic yet?
No.
No, not yet. Oh my gosh, we were doing traffic.
Not getting any sleep, Tracy.
Yeah, we were at the hotel, and Hayden is my driver during all of that. I just
Better
meet him.
than Waymo.
I meet him at the truck, and
Was it,
he
the-
gets me from point A to point B.
what I
Weather
do.
Force 11?
No, in his truck.
Oh,
it was
your
my,
truck. Yes, because you
it was my
have a
Nissan Frontier.
big old truck, a big Hemi truck.
Yep. Shout out to the baby outside parked in the parking lot.
Yes. She'll be waiting for you when
She
you
will
are
be.
finished
Yeah,
with your day.
in about 5 hours, I'm getting in, but a lot of folks getting in right now, trying to get their day going.
That's
Ashley
right.
King.
Yeah, they're
Did you
trying to
like
get to work, and you shouldn't have a lot of issues getting to your destination this morning if you're leaving right now. Anyway, I can't say what's going to happen in 30
I can't
minutes
speak for 8
from now.
o'clock, but
Right.
7 o'clock.
Are there any
But
Waymos?
right now, it's looking great. This is a look on Interstate 630 towards downtown Little Rock. You can see the state capitol there to the left, and looks like a little bit of volume is starting to increase. Not a lot, though. I mean, as we look at our live traffic map, you can see we're still all green here across central Arkansas, and our drive times into downtown Little Rock still looking great from Conway, Benton, Cabot into downtown Little Rock. No increases on our drive times just yet. We'll check this again coming up in just a few minutes. Right now, getting a check of the weather with
While we had that frontal boundary push through the state, it's still lingering a little bit off to the east, but we're seeing that colder air begin to make its way into central Arkansas. We started out this morning in the 60s, and already we're seeing temperatures going down a little bit. And you can see the impacts again with that frontal boundary with a few of those clouds, but it's a nice sunrise and not having really a lot of fog because that drier air, those dew points are going down. So again, fog's not an issue this morning. It is 56 in central Arkansas. Around the state, we're seeing some 40s again as that colder air back behind that frontal boundary, keeping things a little bit warmer down there in southeastern Arkansas. But talking about our hour by hour forecast, again, we started in the 60s and we have dropped down into the 50s this morning. Now, just with daytime heating, we're going to warm up again to the lower 60s, and those winds will be out of the northeast right around 5 to 10 miles per hour. But we're going to see some changes as we're heading into the weekend. Cooler weather, a very windy Saturday ahead, but we're also going to talk about some storms in the southern portion of the state tonight. Stay with me. We'll go into all of that and get you all the details coming up.
We begin with developing news. Federal authorities are investigating a shooting involving Border Patrol agents in Portland, Oregon. Agents fired shots at two people accused of trying to drive away from a traffic stop. That's according to the Department of Homeland Security. Those two people are still in a hospital this morning. Homeland Secretary Kristi Noem says the driver of the SUV tried to, quote, weaponize the car against agents, prompting an officer to fire in self-defense. The Portland office of the FBI calls it an assault on federal officers. But Portland's mayor is demanding that federal immigration office operations take a pause in the city until a full independent review can be done. All of this as protesters call for action outside an ICE facility.
We know what the federal government says happened here. There was a time when we could take them at their word. That time is long past. Our community deserves answers. Our community deserves accountability.
State and local authorities urge community members to stay calm, especially as this, you recall, follows the deadly shooting of a woman in Minneapolis earlier this week by an ICE agent.
Meanwhile, in the Twin Cities, tensions remain high after that deadly shooting. The FBI has taken over the investigation into the death of 37-year-old Renee Good, and Minnesota officials say they have been shut out of the probe, which began as a joint effort. New details reveal the agent involved is Jonathan Ross, who has worked with ICE in Minnesota for nearly a decade. Authorities say Good allegedly tried to strike Ross with her car. The shooting has sparked protests, with hundreds marching through the city and calling for limits on ICE operations. Governor Tim Walz voicing his concerns on Thursday, and former ICE officials warn the incident could undermine public trust.
It feels very, very difficult that we will get a fair outcome.
I found it, to be honest, the department's official statement and the secretary's statements were really irresponsible.
DHS says ICE operations in Minnesota will continue despite the backlash.
Here at home, Pine Bluff police are investigating a late-night shooting from earlier this week. Investigators are searching for answers, and they're searching for the man on your screen, 23-year-old Tamarcus Franklin. Officers responded to reports of gunfire in the 1500 block of West 29th Avenue just after 9 Wednesday night and arrived to find evidence at that scene. 2 people suffered gunshot wounds, but Franklin took off and has not yet been found. Anyone with information on the case or where he may be is urged to contact the Pine Bluff Police.
The Department of Corrections has identified the inmate who died after a machinery-related accident at the Cummins unit on December 28th. Officials say 54-year-old Kip Tate was serving a 40-year sentence after pleading guilty to aggravated robbery, theft of property, and breaking or entering in Drew County back in 2002. The department has ordered a review into Tate's death and expects it to be completed within the next few weeks. This marks the second death at the Cummins unit in 2025. You may recall back in September, 21-year-old Joseph Fairchild was found unresponsive by staff and later pronounced dead. His 25-year-old cellmate was later identified as a suspect. Another dog attack in Saline County raising serious concerns about public safety, especially in rural areas. State and county leaders say they're growing frustrated by a lack of animal control options, and after multiple attacks, they are pushing for change. THV 11's Tamer Knight explains more on why this issue has become so urgent. Tamer?
Well, Karen and Hayden, local and state leaders say the latest attack is just one example of a problem that's been growing for years. Further, they say there isn't an easy solution. Another dog attack in Saline County, this time on Diamond Hills Cove, just north of Alexander. According to an incident report, 3 dogs attacked a mother and daughter while they were walking down the street. Their injuries were non-life-threatening, but now State Representative R.J. Hawk lives in Saline County and says the lack of animal control in rural areas continues to be a major issue, but fixing it is complicated. And Saline County Court Quorum Court member Stephanie Johnson says she's been pushing for change since the 2 deadly dog attacks happened just weeks apart last year.
The local municipalities, whether it be cities or counties, they need to find out what fits them best, and they need to create their own ordinances.
It seems like the Quorum Court is too concerned about making people mad over trying to pass common sense laws rather than trying to make the county safe.
Johnson says while cities like Benton and Bryan have animal control services, many rural areas do not, leaving residents with fewer options. She says the Quorum Court will need to come together to discuss funding or new ordinance to prevent future attacks. Now, the 2 owners involved in this week's attack have been arrested, both charged with unlawful dog attack and first-degree assault. The 3 pit bulls have also been seized. For THV 11 News, I'm Tamer Knight.
All right, Tamer, thank you for that update. We also have an update on a 2023 animal cruelty case in White County. Franklin Smith will serve 30 days in jail and pay a $500 fine for disorderly conduct.
Smith initially faced more serious charges after investigators say he nailed the body of a dead dog on a sign to warn people not to dump animals near his property.
Our crews encountered Smith 2 years ago, and statements he made at the time were later used as evidence. Smith told investigators the dog was aggressive toward other animals and that he shot it.
After a bench trial last month, a White County Circuit judge handed down the sentence on Thursday.
Dardanelle Marina is now closed after the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers Little Rock District declined to renew its lease. The Corps says the decision follows ongoing public safety violations and failure to meet lease requirements. Boat owners must remove all vessels and personal property by March 7th. Any items left after April 7th could be impounded under federal regulations. Happening today in downtown Little Rock, the Arkansas Marine Expo kicks off at the State House Convention Center. Visitors can check out the latest 2026 boats, outdoor gear, and show-only deals all under one roof. It's a chance to plan for the upcoming boating season and even enter to win a Yamaha personal watercraft. The expo runs through Sunday and is a popular stop for both seasoned boaters and first-time buyers looking for a little summer fun.
All right, let's go from boats to cars and check in with Ashley King and a look at the roads.
Yeah, so far so good. We're not seeing any accidents and no major slowdowns throughout central Arkansas this morning. It is a Friday, so I'm hoping it's one of those Fridays where we see light traffic, because yesterday we had several accidents. It was a very busy Thursday, but things are looking good right now. We're getting a shot of what is happening on 40 westbound at the North Hills Boulevard exit right now, and you can see it looks like everything is moving okay. We're not really seeing a lot of brake lights there just yet, like we typically do. This is a look at the live traffic map, and it's starting to slow down just a little bit there through Alexander on 30 eastbound, which is pretty typical for a little bit after 7 like it is right now. And our drive times are still looking great if you're coming in from Conway, Benton, or Cabot into downtown Little Rock. We'll get another check coming up right now, checking what's going on with the weather with Tracy.
I'm coming.
She's heading over there.
Here I
she's
am.
got a lot to do to update all of the things that happen with our weather in Arkansas.
Yeah, I was updating Facebook.
Oh,
so
yeah,
with the
that's
weather.
part of the job too.
Not just Facebooking, just with weather.
Yeah.
So reason I was doing that is we've got this lower area of concern for severe weather. You'll remember when we started out the day, and even we were talking yesterday, we had this gray area, this submarginal. It was up here in Pine Bluff, just south of the metro. So the Storm Prediction Center has moved that down just a little bit. We expected most of that storm center to be into the south and to the east, and that's what it's going to be here in central Arkansas. Started this today at 4 p.m. You can see those temperatures are dropping into the 50s there. We're not really expecting any rain here anyway, but as we're heading into the overnight hours, we'll start to see that rain pushing in from the south. This is going to be around 9 p.m. this evening. And keep in mind, even though all of that has been shifted a little bit south, make sure you have a way to receive watches and warnings if you're headed to bed, because this is at 12:30 in the evening. And again, it looks like it's really firing up as it's heading off to the east, but you know, it could get a little spicy there in the southeastern corner. So again, make sure you have all of those ways to get the watches and warnings set to your phone. We'll talk more about this nicer weekend headed our way in just a few minutes.